This is HeKnowsFitness Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. 2 for 2, man. All right, y'all. Whew. Power of the media, man. This one right here, I have to keep the foot on the what? On the next. I got to keep the foot on the what? On the next. Here's the truth of the fact of the matter. When people sit here and say that Reggie Miller is better than Scottie Pippen, we got to question that. And the reason why we got to question that, even if it's somebody that I support, even if it's somebody I like, we have to question that. You're talking about a one-way player versus a two-way player. What would you pick? Who would you pick? Matter of fact, what would you pick? Let me say it again, because that needs to marinate in the corpus callosum and in the cerebellum. Hear me and hear me well. Or who would you pick? A one-way player or a two-way player? Isn't Scottie Pippen known as a two-way player? Doesn't he play on both the offensive and the defensive side of the basketball? So if he does that, why wouldn't you pick him? Scottie Pippen impacts the basketball on both sides of the variation, on both sides of the equator, on both sides of the aisles. He was the best defender on the Chicago Bulls for a number of years when Michael Jordan was playing lazy-ass defense. See, people don't think I get on MJ. I do get on MJ because I know when MJ used to play lazy-ass defense and use Scottie Pippen because Scottie Pippen was the ultimate defender. Let me say it again. Michael Jordan used to play that lazy-ass defense a lot of times and use Scottie Pippen because Scottie Pippen was that dude, that ultimate defender. Scottie Pippen is the greatest defender the NBA's ever seen. Scottie Pippen is a two-way player extraordinaire. If it wasn't for Scottie Pippen, a Kawhi Leonard wouldn't have showed up and showed out. Let me say it again. If it wasn't for Scottie Pippen, a Kawhi Leonard wouldn't have showed up and showed out. Now, Reggie Miller has impacted some people a la Stephen Curry. But what do they have in common? They are high-octane betas, a.k.a. alpha wannabes. You know why? Because they only play on one side of the aisle. Reggie Miller has not gotten to the party or the dance. You know why he hasn't gotten there? Because he hasn't developed a defensive game. He's a pedestrian on the other side of the ball. Basketball is about judging people at the pantheon of greatness. There's a reason why Scottie Pippen has NBA championships. People gonna say, oh, it was because of Michael Jordan. Yeah, Michael Jordan molded him. But Scottie Pippen's defense was never molded. It came into the league the way it was. Let me say it again. Scottie Pippen's defense was never molded. It came into the league the way it was. Do your fucking homework. When he came in 87 from Arkansas, his defense was already on point. MJ was getting his offensive weaponry there. I'd rather have a defensive game and then get my offensive game as opposed to me having an offensive game and not having a defensive game. Let me say it again. I'd rather have a defensive game, a complete repertoire of a defensive game, and then get an offensive game than to have an offensive game and not have a defensive game. You know why? It takes a lot longer and a lot harder for a player to pick up defensive habits than it does an offensive habit, than it does for them to pick up offensive habits. Case in point, Carmelo Anthony. This is why Carmelo Anthony got kicked his ass out of the league, because he didn't develop a two-way game. Now Carmelo Anthony understands that he has to hustle on the other side of the basketball court, and that's why he was able to get his job, because he was willing to humble himself and realize I can't just get to the party being a one-way player, even if I'm an ultimate variation. This is why Reggie Miller fell short. So when you sit here and say that Reggie Miller is better than Scottie Pippen, we need to test your basketball knowledge. Because when has a one-way player ever been better than a two-way player? Let me say it again. When has a one-way player ever been better than a two-way player? That's the cold-hearted, unadulterated, cutthroat, true-telling fashion. Scottie Pippen is a 50 greatest player of all time. Reggie Miller's not on that list. There's a reason for that. Reggie Miller's considered honorable mention. You know why? Because you could only count on Reggie Miller on one side of the aisle. Pippen, you can count on him on two sides of the aisle. Pippen was the ultimate utilities man. People sit here and talk about LeBron James. They forget, before LeBron James, this point forward phenomenon, Scottie Pippen was the original point forward. Let me educate you guys on this point forward stuff. Scottie Pippen was the original version of it. The point forward that could do it all. Small forward that can play the point guard position, utilities man, do everything on the basketball court. Grant Hill then became the next variation, the next generation, or the next iteration of it, and then it became LeBron James. And if you want to say in between Grant Hill and LeBron James, you could talk about Tracy McGrady. And then there was Anthony Hardaway. There's a bunch of these point forwards, that phenomenons that showed up before LeBron showed up. Everybody's so gun-ho on LeBron James, they forget about all of these guys. But Scottie Pippen started that phenomenon of a small forward being able to play the point guard position and impact the basketball the way that he did. Scottie Pippen's ball handling skills is way better than Reggie Miller's, because Scottie Pippen played point guard for the Chicago Bulls for a number of years. Scottie Pippen's ability to make late game decisions is higher than Reggie Miller's. Scottie Pippen has made clutch baskets. Yes. Reggie Miller ain't been sitting there and been the only one making clutch baskets. Am I sitting here and saying that Scottie Pippen is more clutch than Reggie Miller? No. But Pippen has proven clutch abilities. He's proving late game situations. If you've been watching the Chicago Bulls, you would know this. Pippen is a utilities man. He could do it all on the basketball court. Reggie Miller could only do a certain thing, which is put the ball in the hoop. That's what he's known for. So when has Reggie Miller ever been better than Scottie Pippen? So this is what we're going to judge. This is what we're going to tell ourselves, that a one-way offensive player is better than a utilities man two-way player? Come on, y'all. Stop being Rudy pulling plum rings. Stop being classic Dolce and trophy backs. Stop being ultra fanboys with the ultra fanboy rhetoric. It's really that simple. Stop the presses and pump the brakes on the nonsense. Go sit down somewhere and higgity fucking hush. When has a one-way player ever been better than a two-way player? That's nonsense. Or how I should say, nonsense. That's what it is at its truest and its most properest levels. Again, recap. Reggie Miller is not a 50 greatest player of all time. Scottie Pippen is. There's a reason for that, folks. So again, when we sit here and we talk about Scottie Pippen, don't disrespect Pippen to the level now where we're talking about Reggie Miller is better than him. Because again, one-way player, utility man, two-way player, the ultimate variation. Y'all do the math. One has 6 NBA titles, and he has it for a reason. And the other one, how many titles does he have? 0. You know why? Because his game represented 0 because he never worked on the other side of his game. I keeps the foot on the what? On the necks. I keeps the foot on the what? On the necks. Now that's the cold-hearted, unadulterated, cutthroat, truth-telling fashion. And if anybody ever tells you that Reggie Miller is better than Scottie Pippen, kick that rubbish out of the damn door. This is HeKnowsFitness. Check it out.